Hi, it's Jordan1, and today I'll be showing you how to make this cute heart bracelet. Since Valentine's Day is around the corner, you can make it to wear yourself or to give to a loved one. And today I'll be showing it on the Monster Tail loom. You can also make this bracelet on the Rainbow Loom. You would just have it set up in the staggered position so the pins are not in line with one another. And then on the outside here, you would use the pins that are even with one another to place your 3 horizontal bands. And then in the center here, your vertical band would cross all the 3 horizontals. You would just want them to go along the outside of the center pins and then over the pin on the top. So as far as your band counts go, you'll probably need close to 200. And today I have white for the background. And then I'm going to make 2 different color hearts. I have purple and fuchsia. And then I also have clear. If you look at the bracelet here, I have used 2 clear bands to hold the top of each heart, just so it's a little bit more transparent. But if you don't have clear, you can just use the white or whatever background color you have. And for each of the hearts, you're going to need 4 of whatever color you're using, and then the 2 clear. So today I have 12 of the purple, 12 of the fuchsia, and then also 12 of the clear, because I have fit 6 hearts on my bracelet. So it really just depends on the size of your wrist how many you'll need. So I'm going to start by placing the first band straight across the center row here. And it doesn't have to twist, and as I said, I'm using white for the background. And then my next band is going to go from the center pin diagonally down and to the left. And then the next band is going from the center diagonally up and to the left. And then I'm going to place a cap band on the right hand side here. So in order to do this, I just want to double this band. I'm putting it on my hook, twisting, and putting it right back on. So I have the 2 loops, and that's just going to go on the right here. And now I need all 3 of these lower bands to come up through that cap band, one at a time here. So I'm just going to push back on the top 2 bands, grab that next one in line. I want to hold this cap band in place. Going to pull that out, and it's going to move above. And then I'm going to go back down through, again push back on the top 2, grab that next one in line, and that one's going to come to the pin below. And then I have one more here that's underneath, so I'm just going to grab that, pull it up through, but I want to leave it on my hook. And if you want, you can hold this with your finger just so it doesn't come off. You want to slip that cap band off, and then this other band goes right back on. So that's just going to be the bottom of the bracelet. You can see now we have the cap band in the middle. So that's how I start a lot of my bracelets, so that may look familiar to you. And now I'm going to place a band that goes from the top all the way to the bottom. This is just going to help keep the 3 rows connected. So it is a bit of a long stretch. And now I'm going to place 3 more bands that go straight across the 3 rows. And then I need my long stretch band here from the top to bottom. And then once I have those 2 layers on, I'm just going to remove the bottom layer from all 8 of the pins. Just working my way around here. And push that down. And then I'm going to do one more layer like that. So I have the 3 bands that go straight across. And then the one that stretches all the way to the top. And then once again, I'm going to remove just that bottom band from all of the pins. And push that down. Now that I have those 3 layers on, it's time to start the first heart. So I'm going to take 2 purple bands at once. They're going to go straight across, but I do want them to twist. So they're just going to do like a half twist to make a figure 8. Just make sure that they twist together there. And then on the right side, I want this bottom white band to come over the top, but it's going to be a little different on the left. I want to push back on these 2 purple, reach inside here, grab the bottom white, pull it up through, and I'm going to leave it on my hook. I'm going to slip these purple off of that pin, and then the white goes back on. Going to push that down. And now I'm going to add another white layer. So it's the same pattern. It's going to be the 3 that go straight across. And then the 1 long stretch. I'm going to remove that bottom layer, but not on the center pin here. You'll see when you work your way around, there's nothing else to grab. There's only the 1 white, so I'm not doing anything with that. But for the rest of the 7 pins, the bottom one comes off. And then here at the bottom as well, pushing that down. And now for this next layer, I'm going to be using the same color as my heart for the bottom band. So I want purple to go across the bottom. In the center here, I'm going to do white, or whatever your background color is. And then at the top here, your heart color, so I have another purple. And then again, white for the long stretch here. And now again, I'm removing the bottom rubber band. Now when I get to this pin in the center on the right here, you'll see I have the 2 white on top and the purple underneath. So I'm just ignoring those purple for now. So it's the bottom white, or the bottom background color, is coming off. And then again for the rest of the pins, it's just the bottom band. And again, push that all down. And now for this third layer, this is where I'm going to add the clear bands, if you have clear. If not, you would just use your background color. So at the bottom here is going to be a clear. And then in the middle is white. And then another clear at the top. And now the white that goes from the bottom to the top. And then again, the same thing. I'm removing that bottom band from all of the pins except for the center right. So this time it's your color that's coming off the top and bottom. And in the middle here, again, we're ignoring the 2 purple or the 2 heart color bands. And we're pushing that down. And now what we need to do is get these bands that we've been ignoring on the right to come off. But what I want to do first is take this clear band that's on the bottom, and I'm just going to move it straight over to the left. It's just going to go there for a moment for a holding spot. Same thing in the middle. This white band is just going to slide over and sit right on top. And then also for the top row here, the clear will come over. So now the only thing I have on the right here are the heart bands here, whatever color you have. Now I want one of these bands to move to the top and one to move to the bottom. But depending on how you twisted your bands is how you want to place them. So let me just show you what I mean. I'll take the first one off, just separate them here. And if you look down inside here, you can see if it goes over to the pin below here, how it would look, if it looks like it's crossing the other purple or if it's going up above. So I want it to not cross, so it just looks a little bit more clean. I mean, it'll still work out okay even if you do cross them, but personally I like them not to cross. So I'm going to move this one to the pin above, and then for this other one I'm going to move that to the pin below. So you can see here how they've sort of spread out from one another. And if I did it the opposite way, let me just switch it up so you can see the difference. You can see that they're a little bit more together here, that they've crossed one another. So it's really a matter of preference, and it'll still work out okay. But I'm just going to switch them back. And now the ones on the left need to come back over. All three of these. And now I want these purple heart bands to slide onto the clear bands. So I'm just removing them. And the only other tip that I have to watch out for here is if you see how the hearts are, you can see that the bands are nice and straight. But once in a while you might have a band that gets twisted. So let me just show you what that looks like. Just because I want you guys to avoid any pitfalls. I don't want you to have your bracelets be done and then one of the hearts doesn't look quite right and you're disappointed and upset. So I've just twisted this. So now if you look, you can see how this one, you can see, let me just try and get a better view. You can see both sides of the bands and it's nice and open. But this side you can see that it's twisted. So I just don't think that it gives it as nice of a look. So always when you're doing that upper part here, just make sure that it is not twisted. So let me just untwist this. So you can see it looks straight. And now I'm able to slide it on, and then you can see here that both of the bands are nice and straight. And so now we've basically just completed one of the heart pattern, and you need to decide how many rows you want in between your hearts. If you look at my bracelet, I have them separated by 3 rows, so I'm going to keep to that pattern. But if you wanted your hearts to be a little bit closer together or a little bit farther apart, you would just do more or less. And of course that would change the count of bands that you need for the hearts. So I'm going to do 3 layers of all white. So I have the 3 bands that go straight across, and then the one that crosses them all. And now the bottom comes off. You can see here that these got a little bit crossed, and I want them to be in order on the pin so I know which one to grab. So just straighten that out there. And then I'm going to do a second layer. So this part's not too hard, not too much to have to think about. Push that down, and then I'm going to do one more layer. Whoops, that one just snapped. And now the bottom one comes off. This one's trying to jump off on me. And I'm going to push that down. You can see it's starting to grow out the bottom. You can see that heart shape. And now I'm going to switch to my next color. So I'm going to do the fuchsia. So this is where I want the bands to go straight across the middle, and I do want them to just twist, that one little half twist to make the figure 8. And you do want them to try and be nice and straight on the pin there. So let me just straighten them out. And then on the right hand side you want the bottom to come over the top. But on the left hand side, which is going to be the back of the bracelet, you need to go down through the top 2. The bottom one comes up through, and then these bands slide off of that pin, and then the band in your hook goes right back on. That just sets up the base of the heart. Now I'm doing a layer of all white. And now the bottom will come off, except for in the center here. You can see there's nothing to do here. We're just leaving these 2 at the bottom. Pushing down. And then this next layer is where you're going to put the color of your heart to the outside. So straight across the bottom I'm doing the fuchsia. The middle is still going to be white, and then the top is going to be fuchsia. And then white for the crossband. And now again here, when you're removing the bottom, you're just ignoring these 2 heart bands, so you want the bottom background color band to come off. And then I have a third layer I'm going to add. This is where I'm doing the clear, if you have them. So clear at the bottom, background in the middle, and then clear at the top. And now again you're removing the bottom, and again in the center you're ignoring the bottom 2. Just getting your bottom background band to come over. So I don't think it's too difficult of a pattern. You just have to remember what to do on certain steps. And now here's where we need the top bands to move over to the left when you add that clear layer. So on all 3 here, I'm just moving that top band on the right over to the left as a holding place. And now the heart needs to spread out, so again you have to decide which one needs to go where. So I can see here with mine that I want this top one to come down. And also be mindful when you're putting it on the hook, you can see that you want the bands to be straight. So I'm going to just slip it on from the back here. And now this top one here needs to come up, and I can already see that this is going to be twisted. So what I'm going to do is just turn it around and put it on from the inside here, but I've straightened it out. So that way, when I move these back across, and then I slide these heart bands on, that they should be nice and straight. And then again, I can just double check before I move on. That's what I would recommend doing, that they look like they're nice and straight on each side here. And it looks good. So I am just going to continue on in this same pattern. I'll do 3 more layers of all white, and then it'll be time to add my next heart. And I will add the time for you to go back to the first heart in case you feel like you need to follow the steps again. I know that part is the trickiest because there's a couple different steps you have to do. So I will continue on, and when the bracelet gets long enough, I will show you how to remove it from the loom. I now have my bracelet to the length that I'd like, and I'm ready to remove it from the loom. So what I'm going to do is take the bands that are on the right hand side and move them across to the left, just to get them all on the same side. And then I'm going to take another white band. I'm going to put it from the bottom pin to the middle. And then I'm just going to slide off these 2 bands from the bottom. Just slide them onto that upper band. And then from the middle here, I'm taking the bottom 2 and sliding them on. And now I'm going to just stretch this band from the middle, stretch it up to the top. And then I'm going to slide these bottom 2 bands on. And now I'm going to take this and move it all the way up to the top. And I'm going to get the bottom band to come off. And now the one here at the bottom, I'm going to move all the way down. So now this band's going to be stretched from the top to the bottom. And then I'm going to remove that bottom band. So now all I've done is gotten all of those bands onto this last rubber band. And I want to take this off. So just be careful you don't lose it off of your hook. I'm going to pick it up from the bottom, hold it with my thumb. You can see I left my finger on the top too because I didn't want that to come off. And then I can get both bands. I can slide this out. And then I have an S-clip here. You can use whatever clip you have available. And I'm just going to get these last 2 bands to slide through. And then on the other end here, there's a nice circle here. That was the cap band. You would just connect the other side here. But I'm just going to leave it open so you can see the hearts. And you may need to do a little bit of adjusting. You want these inner bands here to be nice and centered in the heart. But they do come out pretty straight. You shouldn't have to do too much work with them. You might have to straighten out the bracelet a little bit too. And there you have your hearts. And here's the first one that I showed you at the beginning that I used all red. I hope that everyone loves their new heart bracelets. You can always leave me comments on YouTube and Facebook, post pictures of your creations to my Facebook page, and please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on my latest tutorials. You can also find me on Pinterest and Instagram, so please feel free to subscribe to those as well. Thanks for watching!